What's up, everybody? It's your girl K Monet. Welcome to another episode of my healing journey. Now, from the beginning intro, you can already see that this episode is going to be a little bit different. So if as you're listening and you feel like something is a little bit too much for you, just go ahead and turn it off. I understand. I don't even be wanting to talk about some of the stuff that I've been through. So I get it if you don't want to listen. No judgment at all. But I have good news and I have bad news. So the good news is that we are almost done with talking about my healing journey. I have been walking y'all through some of the scenarios and just kind of giving a deeper dive of what I went through and some of the things that I wrote about in my book. And we are almost done. I think we have maybe like 3 episodes left. So yay for us. The bad news is it kind of gets worse before it gets better. So let's go. Take a ride with me. So to recap from last episode, if you have not watched it, I highly suggest that you push pause on this video and go back and watch so that you can get all the details. But I'm going to do a high level recap. So basically, somebody's husband was playing in my face and tried to get me to go against my number 1 rule. Now, here's the thing about me. When I was out there in the world, I didn't have too many rules. I was just kind of like, we're going to do whatever. I'm going to go wherever the wind blows me, and that's what it is. But I had one rule, and the one rule was that I was not going to sleep with anybody's husband, okay? I respect marriage, and I just feel like if you are with somebody, if you got in front of God and all these relatives and said, I want to be with you for the rest of my life, I'm not trying to come between that. The Bible says something like, what God puts together, let no man put asunder. I don't know what asunder is, but I feel like it's bad. And I don't want to be a part of it. So that was my one rule. If you're married, don't talk to me. Don't look at me. I'm not coming in your direction. So here this guy comes. He's good and married, trying to be like, oh, I'm separated. Sir, it's the same thing. You are legally married. And you almost made me break my rule. The only reason why I was able to skittle out of that thing was because his nosy niece told me what was going on. If she wouldn't have said anything, that man would have got me so good. Because I was down. She was ready, okay? I would have helped him commit adultery and I would have been so sad about it because first of all, I did not know. And second of all, I would have been super pissed. I don't understand marriage. I've never been married before, but some things that I don't understand about marriage, especially from the male side, is if you didn't want to be a husband, why did you propose? I just don't get it. Like, you went through all of the trouble to get a ring, to plan however you were going to propose to this person, to go through all this thing, spend all this money, do all this planning just to not want to be married for real. I just don't get it. It does not make sense to me. What I'm thinking, and this is from the outside looking in, because like I said before, I've never been married before. I don't really know the ins and outs of it. I desire to be married, but I don't know all of that stuff. I'm going to go through some intense premarital counseling before I say I do, because I feel like there's a lot of stuff that I just don't know and that I need to know before I be up in somebody's nook and then be like, ooh, I don't necessarily know if I want to be in this nook anymore. You know what I'm saying? So what I think that dudes want to be married, but they don't want to be husbands. And I feel like those are 2 different things. So like, marriage to me from the male perspective is like, hey, I got this girl, she fine. So I get to bring her around my homeboys and be like, look, I bagged a baddie. And she's gonna cook, she's gonna clean, she's gonna take care of the kids, she gonna have sex with me, make sure I get off. She gonna support all of my dreams. She gonna have her little something too, so I can brag about what she does and how dope she is. But she's just basically here for me. And once I get married, my life is gonna become so much better because the wife is supposed to do all of this stuff. This is what I'm thinking in my mind. It may be not true, but this is what I'm seeing. And I feel like the difference between that versus being a husband, and a biblical husband at that, is that the man is supposed to be the head of the household. So I feel like the man is thinking like the woman is supposed to do all of these things. And it's just like, that might kind of be in your category though, because my Bible says that the man is supposed to treat the wife like God treats the church. So my Savior is a provider. My Savior is a protector. My Savior is full of peace. My Savior, goes before me and makes sure that I'm okay. But it just seems like the narratives have switched a little bit, especially in dating. I don't date that much, but the people that I have ran into, it seems like they want the woman to pursue them. They kind of want to be cuddled and sought after. They want you to come up to them with a pickup line. And it's just like, I don't know where the wires got crossed, but I don't like it. But anyways, like I said, never been married before, so I should probably shut up, even though I never really shut up, but I'm gonna shut up on that because I've never been. So long story short, he almost got me because he disrespected himself, he disrespected his wife, he disrespected his marriage, and he was about to disrespect me if it wasn't for his nosy niece. So shout out to her, even though I wanted to slap her when I first met her, because Miss Mama's, mind your business, okay? You in grown folks' business. But shout out to you. If I ever run across you ever again, I'm gonna buy you lunch or I'm gonna buy you a bag or something like that because you saved me. I appreciate you. So anyways, I come home from the festival and I have an attitude. And so my roommate, shout out to her because she just knows me and she knows when I get frustrated that I just kind of get ghosted. I don't really like to talk about my feelings. That's why having this podcast is so hard, because I have to relive every single thing. Like, I have to decompress after I talk about this stuff because I'm not really one of those people that likes to dig into my feelings and say, you made me feel this way and then that triggered me to do that. I don't really like to do that. I like to sweep it up under the rug and then just be like, I'm gonna just walk over this lump and act like it's not there. But it's not the way life and healing works. So I go home and my roommate sees that I'm about to shut down and she's just like, nope. She was like, this Friday we having a house party. And I'm like, I don't really want to be around no people. She was like, no, you need to be around some people because I don't want to hear no sad love songs. I don't want you in the back moping. I don't want none of that stuff. So we're going to have a party. Make some lasagna, make some garlic bread. I'm going to order some wings. I'll have everybody bring their own bottle. It's a BYOB. It'll be fine. It'll be great. I'll handle music, everything, you just gotta show up. I'm like, okay, all right, cool. So I'm on board, all right? I get dressed, I cook, people come over, we're eating, we're drinking, we're having a good time. But it's kind of low key. The music is up, but people are just kind of, not necessarily blah, but I don't see nobody just over the top turned up. And even though I didn't initiate the party, since it was at my house, I felt responsible for everybody's fun. When you are a people pleaser like I was, and when you are afraid of a rejection, other people's reaction to stuff, they could be having a great time. People were just sitting around talking, catching up with people, drinking. I'm like, they're bored. I have to do something because everybody's bored. It's too quiet in here. So what do? I start giving out lap dances. I know, don't judge me. I just start dancing on everybody, men, women. I'm turning up. I got everybody going, and now the party is loud because they're laughing at me or they're enjoying me or whatever the case is. They like, she wildin', and now everybody's having a good time because I'm the entertainment. So as I'm giving the lap dances and I'm hitting all of these little moves or whatever, because another thing about me, I used to take pole dancing lessons. I'm in Atlanta. Why would they not have pole dancing classes? We got Magic City down the street. Why would you not have pole dancing lessons? But anyway, I sucked at the pole. I just did not, I couldn't like swing my body around. I feel so dumb because I can't even do it right now. I couldn't swing. My coordination was not coordinated. I couldn't get around or whatever. But what they did teach me was floor work. So I was a beast at the floor work. Like, put me on the floor, put me on the floor, put me on the floor. Like, I was doing that real good. But as far as like swinging my body around the pole, it just wasn't working. Which is a good thing though, because if I would have learned how to work that pole and I would have lost maybe 15, 20 pounds, I probably would have been a stripper. And sometimes being a stripper can lead to porn, and sometimes porn can lead to prostitution. And I don't think I would have been able to get out of that life. My life was already doing the absolute most. I don't think, it's a good thing that I didn't learn how to work the pole, because I definitely would have signed up to do it. Because once again, people pleaser, fear of rejection. As a stripper, you get attention. I was seeking after attention. That's something that I was absolutely done, but I wasn't good at it, so I did not do it. But anyways, I'm dancing on everybody. I'm the life of the party now. I feel like things are jumping now that I feel like my party is doing what it's supposed to do. And then in walks Courtney. Now I'm looking for my roommate because I don't understand. Like, you handled the invite list. Did you set me up for failure or did you set me up for success? Are you mad at me? Why did you invite him? Or are you trying to get me out of my funk and you know that he's my favorite, so you trying to get me to do a little something so that I won't be mad? I don't know. I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, So then later on I found out that it was a latter. She didn't want me to be sad, so she was just like, hey. And he agreed to come, so apparently he wasn't that mad anymore. So it ended up, well, I don't say it ended up working out. It just depends on how you look at it. But he's there. So you know when you see your crush or whatever, if you're already doing something, you go a little bit harder when somebody is looking at you, when somebody is, you know, that crush is kind of giving you the eye and you want to show out. So now I'm going hard on the lap dances, and I'm like, I should probably stop because some of these dudes are feeling some type of way, and I'm like, yeah, we can't have that. So let me ease up. So I end up getting up, and I'm trying to like avoid him, but we're in an apartment. Like, apartments are only so big. So I'm trying to be on this side of the bar, and he's right here looking at me, and I'm like, here we go. Here we go. So he ends up coming up, and he pours me a drink, and he's like, peace offering. And I'm like, I guess. We drink the drink or whatever, and then he pours some more, so I drink some more, and then after 3 or 4 cups, somehow we ended up in my room. I don't want to say somehow, because y'all know how. This is on brand for me. The fact that I'm trying to play in y'all's face, talk about, well, somehow we ended up in my room. Really? Really, Kay? Somehow? Like you don't always end up in the room? Okay. All right, cool. I'm gonna let you have it. So we get to the room, and yeah, it's it goes down. It goes all the way down. And this is the part that annoys me again, because remember in the last episode I told y'all that we liked each other, but we was trying to keep our relationship on the hush. But when we do stupid stuff like both disappear at a party in my room and then never come back out. Really? So y'all don't want nobody to know that y'all messing around, but y'all mysteriously leave the party at the same time and then never come back? Okay, cool. But we didn't mean to. We was in there for a while, you know what I'm saying? Ended up falling asleep, and then it was just like, shoot, the party's over. It's just, yeah, that happened. We sleep, we kind of get up or whatever, and he's talking. He's just like, you know, why haven't you been answering any of my text messages? And I'm like, what text messages? And then he realized that I blocked him. So then he goes on my phone, he sees the sea of blocked people in there. Remember I told you I don't save names, so he just sees all these numbers. So he has to find his number, unblock him, and then we're good to go. After that, we've been texting back and forth a little bit. When's the next time you going, blah, 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 blah. So back in our toxic rhythm, right? So a little bit of time goes by, and he starts sending me these very explicit videos, because I guess I was taking too long to get to his house, because I still didn't know if that was something that I really, really wanted to do. It was just kind of like, okay, did I miss him? Sure. But also, was this healthy for me? Absolutely not. And every time we come back together, it just keeps getting worse. And I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I should be with him. So I'm trying to keep my distance. So he starts sending me these really explicit videos. And it was kind of weird because he never really sent me stuff like that before. Now, has he sent me like some questionable emojis or something that kind of sparks my interest? Of course, but never really videos. So as he's sending me these videos, it's taking me back to make me want to watch more of these type of videos. So I start watching porn again. Now here's the thing, when I was young, I kind of had an addiction to porn, and this is old school porn when it was only on the TV, on them far channels in the back where you had the TV with the big hump in the back. Y'all used the flat screen TV. If you never seen the big screen TV with the hump in the back, you too young for this channel, okay? So I'm watching it on the big screen, and I'm just looking like this, and I'm sneaking in the middle of the night trying to watch it, and I got the volume all the way down so I won't wake everybody up, and then I gotta try to strategically turn the volume back up and then flip through the channel so that when you put the previous button, it won't go back to the spot. It just was a lot. Like, it was just too much to handle. So I ended up stopped watching when I was younger because I almost got caught. So basically, before there was ever DVR, before there was ever Netflix and Hulu and all of that stuff where you can just rewind stuff and watch it whenever you want to, there was something called a VHS. So what you would do, you put the tape in, and then you would have to set the record or whatever, and it would only record what you were watching on that channel. So like right now when you DVR something, you could be watching, I don't know, Cinderella, and then you could be taping something random, and it won't be the same thing. You don't have to be on the same channel in order to record something, but back in the day you had to be on the exact same channel where you're recording something. So my dad and my mom used to like watching the stories like Bold and the Beautiful and all of those different things, right? So they're recording it because they both work during the time it comes on. Now sometimes I would catch it. They had me watching the stories because I would get home from school and I would be able to catch some of them. So one day what I did is I had my cousin, we left school a little bit earlier because he had started driving. I was just like, I don't want to be at school. Can we roll out? He was like, sure. He didn't want to be at school either, right? So he takes me home early, and I get in the house, and instead of being a good little person and doing my homework, I turn on the porn channels. So I'm watching it, and this time I'm watching it with the volume up because I always watched it down, so I didn't know what they were saying, but I really wanted to know what was going on because I didn't know how to have sex. This was a tutorial for me, and I noticed that some of the girls at my school that were sexually active, these were the girls that were getting attention. And I'm a people pleaser and I want attention, so I'm studying them and I'm like, what's so different about them? Oh, they're having sex. I'm not having sex because I don't know how. So let me hop on the porn channel so I can learn how to have sex. So I turn it on and I'm watching it and I'm feeling, you know, some type of way, and I'm like, oh, this is intense. But I'm intrigued. And then somehow as I'm watching, like I'm fixated on these videos, I happen to look up and I see the red button, which means that it's recording. So instead of recording the stories, now for the past 15-20 minutes, I've been recording porn. Now, here's the thing. I got home early enough, and my dad usually get home probably 30-40 minutes after me, but I've been watching this for some time now. So now I have to rewind the tape, try to figure out when I turned it on porn, turn it on the cartoon channel and start the recording from there, because I can't go back to record the stories because the stories are gone. I've never been sneaky. I've never been good at trying to get over on things. It's just not my gift. So that was a very, very scary moment for me, because if I get caught watching porn, first of all, who records it? Honestly, if you're trying to be sneaky, recording it is probably not the best thing that you should do. So that's the first thing. I'm like, okay, they're gonna call me stupid because I recorded it. There's no way I can get out of that. I'm not a good liar anyway, but there's no way I can lie myself out of that. It's on tape. Okay, it's on tape. That's the first thing. Second thing, my dad's gonna give me a whooping. I just know it. I know he's gonna whoop my behind, because what was I doing? That's the second thing. The third thing is my mom is gonna put me in front of the church. I'm gonna have to confess my sins in front of the mothers with the big hats that I love so much, and they're gonna chastise me. I'm not doing any of those things. So I hurry up, I record over it, ends up working out in my favor. But after that, I didn't watch porn no more because I was shook. I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm not sneaky enough. So even though I kind of had like a habit and I was like watching it at night, I stopped doing that too, because now I'm scared. Now I'm like, somebody's gonna find out. I am not as sneaky as I thought I was. Something's gonna happen. I'm gonna get caught. I'm not doing it. So I stopped watching porn, which is a good thing. So then when I go to college, I start kind of watching it a little bit more, because now I'm, you know, dating different people. They're asking me to do stuff that I don't know how to do. And I'm just like, okay, well, let's figure out how to do this. So basically, I'm having all of these different issues that I've had with porn over the years, and I've been pushing away from it and trying not to get caught up in that. I'm already living it basically out loud. I don't need to be watching it. So I'm trying to leave that alone. And then here comes Courtney sending me these suggested videos that has me kind of pulling back into that lifestyle. So I'm just like, I don't really want to mess with him. I decide that I'm going to leave him alone. I go back in my phone to block him. I'm like, you're not good for me. You're bringing back old stuff and different ways of feeling things that I don't need right now. So we're going to leave that alone. Here's the problem. As I'm blocking him and as I'm preparing to completely push him out of my life, I'm realizing that my period is late. Yeah. So that night when we had that party and him and I disappeared into my room, we did not use protection at all. And it was weird because we always use protection. Him and I were on the same page. We mess around with people. We don't want to get pregnant. That was just kind of our MO. But I would always be at his house and he would always have condoms. I didn't have condoms in my house because I didn't really like people knowing where I live, because I didn't want people to roll up on me. So I didn't really have a lot of dudes in and out of my house, for real. You know, I mean, some people have slipped through on some random stuff, but I really didn't like to have a lot of people at my house for that very reason. And we were there and we were unprepared, but we still went forth and did whatever. So now my period is late, and I'm stressed out for so many different reasons. Number one, my job was already super stressful. So right now I have 6 people that work with me in my department. When I was there, it was just me. Now, of course, the volume has gone up by like 10-15%, but it was still a lot of work. So imagine one person doing what 6 people are now doing right now, you know? So I was real stressed out at my job. I've had all these different images in my head because Courtney is bringing back some things that I did not want to be associated with. I'm feeling horrible, and now my period is late, and I'm thinking about all of these different things, and I'm like, I cannot be attached to this man for the rest of my life. I just cannot do it. For me at that point, my mindset is that having a baby daddy is like having the ultimate uncurable disease. I can't get rid of you. You're going to be there forever in my life because we share a child. I don't even like you half the time. You think that I want to share a baby with you and have you in my life for the rest of my life? No. But I'm also getting really, really sad and overwhelmed because I know that if I am pregnant, that there's only one option for me to not have him in my life for the rest of my life. And I kind of start shaking and just getting very, very overwhelmed because I've been in that situation before where I've had to make a decision and okay. So when I was younger, and my boyfriend at the time was 5 years older than me, so that's already a problem. Right now, you don't think that 5 years age gap is that much of a difference. If somebody's 30 and they're dating somebody 35, okay. If somebody is 45 and they're dating somebody that's 50, okay. But if somebody is like 12 and they're dating somebody that's 17, I'm not saying that that's the age that I was, but I'm trying to give you some time frames just so that you can kind of see like that's a little bit off, right? When you're younger, it's a little bit off. So I was dating somebody that was more experienced than me, and we did some things and I got pregnant, and then everything kind of shifted, right? So him and I were locked in. That was my baby. Like, he couldn't tell me anything. I loved him so, so much. Like, and then as soon as I told him I was pregnant, something kind of switched. He didn't abandon me, but he was smarter than me, and he kind of, well, okay, because I don't want to put too much on him. Let's just say some of the conversations change. He was kind of like, okay, well, you know, we got this baby, we got these financial responsibilities, so I'm gonna have to do X, Y, and Z. And X, Y, and Z is not safe. I know some people play like, oh, the Midwest is just blah, blah, blah. They sometimes think, oh, they country, or they just, you know, don't know what's going on. But they be killing folks where I'm from for no reason all the time. There's so much violence in my hometown, and you wouldn't even think about it. You're just like, oh, this is a little, you know, whatever. It's a major city, but it's not nothing like that. But no, they be killing folks. So you're telling me you're about to go do all of these dangerous things just so that we can be provided for financially. But then at the end of that, you're saying, oh, but it's your decision though. Like, those was the type of things, you know what I'm saying? He had never really talked to me like that and tried to trick me or tried to like have my mind go on these different things. At least I didn't think that he was, you know, because I absolutely loved him. Maybe he said some stuff like that before, but it went over my head because I wasn't really thinking about it. But when I got pregnant, things started to shift. And now I'm sitting here with this baby. I'm young. I don't even know how to take care of myself. How am I going to take care of this baby? I was really into this dude, but now he's saying things that are a little bit off that I don't necessarily want to. I don't know. I don't want to be with him forever. I don't want to be locked in with him forever. But I was torn because I know, like, you know, you grow up in church and first of all, they say, don't have sex. That's the first thing. And that sucks. I'm so glad that church is changing because back then they were so focused on don't do this and don't do that. And yes, are there sins that God does not want us to be a part of? Yes. Are there things that displease him? Absolutely. But we were taught more about don't do this because God will be mad at you type thing instead of have a relationship with God, you know? So now I'm sitting here and I'm just like, okay, so I've already had sex out of marriage. That's one thing against me. I'm going to hell. Now I have this baby and I don't know if I'm gonna keep it. And now they're gonna put me underneath the hell. Like, I'm just, all of these things is kind of hard, you know, for a teenager. And I felt very alone because I couldn't tell anybody because I was afraid of what they were gonna say. Y'all know I'm a people pleaser, fear of rejection. I didn't want people to be disappointed in me. I've always been the good girl or the one that was put up on the pedestal. I had a 4.0 when I was in school, and I was just always on the honor roll, the super honor roll, and on the dean's list and all these different things. And I had all these accolades, and I just did not want that to be washed away and be like, oh, that was the girl that got pregnant. So I have all these different things going on. I can't really tell anybody, can't really talk to anybody about it besides my boyfriend. My best friend at the time didn't like my boyfriend, and she knew that I was wilding out, and she was telling me like, hey, you need to stop because you're gonna get pregnant. So now I can't come up to her and be like, girl, you was right, and also can you loan me some money so I can get, you know what I'm saying? So I couldn't talk to her, couldn't really talk to my mom about it. She knew something was wrong because I was like super sick, but I was telling her I had the flu or something because I was throwing up, and it just kept getting further and further along. So I ended up lying to a family member and telling them that I needed some money for like a car accident or something like that. And they gave me the money, and I went and I got an abortion, and it was difficult. A couple of reasons. You ever know that you're doing something wrong, but you also know that that's kind of your only option at that point? Now, it wasn't my only option. Of course, I could have had the baby. I could have gave it up for adoption. I could have done a whole bunch of different things. But at that point in my life, that was what I thought was the best decision for me to make. But it was also a hard decision, you know, and it was something that I had to bury for a very long time because I didn't have anybody to talk to about it. My boyfriend knew, but I was already mad at him and trying to figure out a way to get rid of him. And then when I went to the clinic, I wanted to slap the girl that did the procedure because she has her badge that has her face and her name on it. And then right next to it, she has a picture of her toddler. So I'm like, I already feel guilty, Miss Ma'am, and you gonna guilt trip me with a picture of your son there. So now I'm pissed at her. You know how like when you do something wrong, now you want to blame everybody else. I'm like, well, why do you even work here? If you don't agree with what's going on, instead of just guilt tripping people with a picture of your son, why do you even work here? You know, so now I'm mad. It was tough. We'll just say that. It was tough. Lord, help me. Okay. So I'm feeling like that the first time around when I had this experience. So now my period is late. I feel like I'm pregnant again, and I'm at a crossroads because even though this has been so long ago, the shame and the guilt doesn't go anywhere if you don't deal with it, right? So I'm sitting there and I still feel guilty for the first one. There's no way I can do it again. There's absolutely no way I can do it again. So I'm just kind of like blah, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm thinking of these things and I'm just like, you could have prevented this. Like, first of all, you wasn't even talking to this dude. Like, why did you decide to do, you know, just all of the questions, all of the blame, all of these different things. If I can go back and turn back the hands of times, I would do this, I would do that. And there's all these different things that are just going through your mind, and you just kind of feel stuck, and I didn't know what else to do. So I just ended up praying, and I'm like, Lord, I can't do this anymore. You know how difficult it was the first time. Like, I can't do this. You have to help me. I can't. And mind you, I'm still going to work and my performance is crazy because I'm already stressed because I'm the only one in my department. But now I have all of these different things that are attacking my brain, and just the shame of my past and the guilt from what I've done before, and like pre-guilt. If I have to even think about doing it again. It just wasn't a good time for me. So one day I just decided to put myself out of my misery. I went and I got a pregnancy test, and I was just like, all right, we're going to just take the test, and then we're just going to figure out what to do afterwards. It's just, I can't keep not knowing and waiting on my period, because now it's been like a week and I can't keep waiting. So I get the test, and thank God it's negative. And you would think that this would be a point where I'm like super happy, right? That I'm like turned up. I'm having like a praise party, that I should just be feeling really, really good that God has spared me and that my decisions didn't become my downfall again and all these different things. But I immediately start crying and I go into this depression, because now it's really weird, because it's like you want the result, you want it to be negative, because you don't want to be pregnant again. You don't want to have to come at a crossroads with a decision again. You don't want to have to relive what you lived through years ago. You don't want to have to think about it. You also don't want to be attached to this person for the rest of your life. But then you also secretly wanted a second chance, You're just like, okay, I made a mistake before, but now I can do this one different this time. You know what I'm saying? It was really, really weird. It was a horrible experience. So a couple months go by and I'm like depressed. Usually my roommate can get me out the house. Usually she can help me and do all these different things and get me where I'm supposed to be, but I couldn't shake out of it. I could not get myself out of this depression, because the stress at work didn't leave. And then I was in the process of moving. My roommate and I's lease was up, and we decided that we were going to move separately because my job was far. And I was just like, part of the stress is Atlanta traffic, trying to get to work back and forth or whatever. So I was like, I'm gonna move closer to my job, I'm gonna move further up north. So it's all of that. It's the stress of moving. It's the stress of realizing that you didn't want to be pregnant, but then also realizing that you're not pregnant, so you don't have a second chance to right your wrong. It's trying to get through all of the things and all of the emotions that you never dealt with in the past. I was just so depressed and so just standoffish for a few months. It was bad. So finally kind of pulling myself out of depression a little bit, because my friend is about to get married, and I already didn't do my sister's wedding right. Like my baby sister, I got sick the night before, and then I just wasn't together or whatever, because around that time someone in my family had came up to me and said, the little sister is getting married before the big sister. How about that? And that crushed me. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be jealous of anybody in your family. You don't want to be jealous at all, but I was very jealous back then, and that just kind of took me over the top. So I already didn't do my baby sister's wedding the best. I felt like I wasn't a great maid of honor for her. So now my college friend is about to get married, and even though she didn't have bridesmaids, I still just wanted to be there for her. I still just wanted to let it be her day and celebrate her. And I'm just like, it can't be about me. I can't be depressed. I gotta shake myself out of it, right? So I'm trying to get myself together. I started going back to the gym. Let me tighten up at least, you know what I'm saying? Let me look good in my dress. Let me let me get my mind off of all of this turmoil that I'm going through, right? I didn't have enough money to fly to wherever my friend was getting married, but it was about a 6-hour drive. And for those of y'all who know me, y'all know that I hate road trips. And when I say hate, I hate them, all right? But I had to get there, you know what I'm saying? So I drove, and during that time, it was very, very difficult, because there was just nothing but like God in the open road. And there were so many things that I needed to talk to him about, and so many things that he needed to talk to me about, but I was avoiding it because, first of all, I'm still feeling shame and guilt for the stuff that I did in my past years ago when I was a teenager. And then now I'm feeling the same shame and guilt because I almost put myself in that same position. How decades later you still doing the same stuff? How you still making the same decisions when you know how much it cost you the first time? I was just so disappointed in myself, so mad. And I'm in the car, and instead of taking responsibility, and instead of asking God, can you help me? Please, I'm blaming him. I'm like, why would you let me? Why are you putting these people around me? Why would you let me move here? Why? I'm going in on him, and it's just like, really? I was so immature. Why would I do that? Why would I blame all of these different things on him when I know that it was me that was going through all these things? It was me that wasn't living right. It was me that was going outside of his will, but yet I'm blaming him because I don't know what else to do. I feel hurt. I feel like I can't talk about these things because it's sensitive subjects. You know what I'm saying? Like people my age, there are some women my age right now that want a baby so bad and they can't have children. And then here I am being reckless. So it's like you can't have these conversations with people. You already feel just icky and disgusting inside. It just was bad. It was really, really bad. So I'm driving, I'm blaming God. He's trying to talk to me and I'm just like, I can't receive anything that you're saying because I just feel so low. So I finally get to the hotel and I'm like, I have to get this off of me. Like I feel like the way that I am feeling right now, all of the emotions are coming back. I'm feeling so down. I'm like, I gotta snap out of this. So what did I do? I went and I got me a bottle and I drank that whole bottle by myself over the course of 2 days because we weren't there that long, but I was taking it back. I was drinking it straight from the bottle. It was crazy. So I'm drinking, I put on my dress. Like I told you, I had been going to the gym a little bit. So my thigh meat was looking good. You know, I was a little toned up a little bit. I wasn't where I should have been, but I was better than where I was. So I'm like, okay, I'm cool. I'm cute. I'm drunk. Things will be great. We drive to the dock and we board the boat and my friend looks gorgeous. She is so pretty, like, oh my gosh. So she just looks great in her dress and I'm crying because this is her college sweetheart and it's just so good to see her happy. And then there's all these people from college. It was like a reunion. So now I'm feeling a little bit better because once again, you know, I isolate myself. When I'm going through stuff, I isolate and I haven't seen my friends from college in forever. I get to see my homegirl marry the love of her life. This is good. So we have the ceremony. It's gorgeous. We get to the reception and my homegirl got me sitting at the singles table and I'm just like, here she go. Oh, it's always something with my friends because it's like they be trying to set me up for success, but sometimes I just make it be failure. It's just so crazy. So I'm at the singles table and I'm looking at the little place cards and I'm noticing everybody I know for the most part. Like I said, we went to college with these people. So I'm just like, oh, okay, I can't wait till this person get here. I'm about to turn up. So then I see this card with this name that I do not know. And I'm just like, who is this? And he's sitting right next to me. So once again, I'm like side-eyeing my friend while she's trying to just be over here married and blissful. I'm side-eyeing her like, who you got me sitting next to? Because why are you on the foolery when you supposed to be getting married? This is your day. You're not supposed to be matchmaker, make me a match. Find me a fine, catch me a catch. You're not supposed to be doing that, sis. So I'm sitting there, you know, I'm having my little drink because I had like a little purse drink too that I done poured and it just was bad. I was going through it. It was horrible. I was numbing my pain, basically. Alcohol was numbing my pain. So the guy pulls up and I am immediately a goner. I know that I'm gonna be a goner because first of all, I smelled him before I saw him. Like, you smell good, and it sucks because anybody can smell good. Anybody can buy some cologne and just smell good, but that is like so attractive to me. Like, you smell good, I wanna be near you. I wanna be right here caressing you because you smell good and I feel like you're welcoming me. So he comes and I'm like, oh, you smell good. He's like, you look good. And I'm like, no, we're not doing that. But then yes, we are, because it's me. Of course we're doing that. He's talking to me and I keep inching closer and he's inching closer and we're talking and we're doing all these things. We're eating, we're drinking, everything's fine. And then now it's time to party. So they putting on all the college classics because that's what we did. We went to all the parties when we were in college. And so they're playing all this music. It's so nostalgic. And then they start playing some of the little slow stuff. Now, mind you, I told y'all about my lap dance and stuff, but I also would dance very suggestively on the dance floor as well on slow music. Like I just was trifling. So I have on this dress that's 2 inches too small, by the way. I really shouldn't wear that dress to a wedding because what was I thinking, but whatever. I play my song, I'm grooving. I feel somebody come up behind me and I kind of look back and it's the dude that smells delicious. So now I'm grinding on him and we having like a good time, and then I kind of get into the dance and I kind of like bend over a little bit and then I'm like, bloop, bloop. Oh no, we can't bend over because our dress is 2 inches too short and you about to see a couple of things you're not supposed to see. So all my homegirls are trying to pull down my dress, and I'm like, okay, let me chill, because if they are getting involved, then that means that I'm doing the absolute most. So I kind of give him the look like we can finish it later. So after the party, we're having a good time. Everybody's having their drinks, and we're just dancing the night away. We're celebrating my friend. Everything's good. So we all go back to the host hotel, and I noticed that there's this girl that's kind of not following him around, but she's making sure that she's seen, right? And he's kind of like looking at me and still just chopping or whatever, but she's just around. And I'm like, you know what? I don't really have time to do this right now. Go ahead. If that's what you on, that's what you on. I'm good. So nothing happens that night. And then I was also salty too, because I thought that I was going to have a backup plan, because one of my crushes from college, he's an entertainer. So I thought that he was going to be there, but he didn't come to the wedding. So I'm just like, okay, well, we will spend this night alone, which is probably for the best, because I really didn't need any more issues, right? I just didn't need any of that stuff. So the party's great. You know, I catch the bouquet, and I'm happy and sad at the same time, because it's just like, when you catch the bouquet, the myth is that you're supposed to be the next one getting married. That was 10 years ago, probably 11. Guess who's single? Guess who's never been close to getting married? You know, I hate that. Stop throwing these bouquets. Take that bouquet and do something else with it, okay? Stop giving it to people and giving us hope, because we not getting married. Sorry. But anyway, so I drive home, and my homegirl calls me. She's like, what's up? What you doing? And I'm just like, I'm just about to go home. She's like, you sound sad. And I'm just like, girl, I am. And she's like, you want to talk about it? And I'm like, no, I don't. And she's like, you want to go out? And I'm like, yes, I do. Because once again, I need attention. I go through these phases. Like, I go depressed and I don't want to see anybody for like months. And then I get to the point where I want everybody to see me, because I need to feel liked. I need to feel loved. I need to feel like all eyes are on me. So let's get dressed and let's go out. So this night was crazy. We're pre-gaming before we went out. We went to the party, and I had like, my boobs were up here. I'm telling you right now, they were up here, like boom, boom, right here, titties. And I'm just like, why do I got my chest so up and out? Because I was trying to get chose, basically. And then my friend, she got a nice body. She got like a slim waist and a big old butt. I'm booby, she's booty, and we just walking in, distracting people or whatever, because we just got our stuff out. And we're dancing and we're just having a good time or whatever. So, you know, I told you I do like the little lap dance type situation. So I'm dancing on my friend, and all these guys are coming up and they're buying us drinks, and we're enjoying them. We're drinking everything. We're having a good time and we're conversing. So I start dancing on her again, and then these two girls pull up on us, and I'm like, okay. So they kind of start dancing on us, and I'm like, oh, y'all not about to outdance me. So one of them in particular was kind of giving me a look, and I'm just like, okay, I got you, sit down. So we went to this bar that has swings, like there's swings at the bar or whatever. So she's sitting at the bar and swinging. So like, once again, lap dances. Not gonna give y'all a lap dance tutorial, but I will kind of just for the visual effect of it. So like, when I give lap dances at parties and I'm playing around or whatever, so for the most part, dudes, I'll face them. We'll be face to face when I'm giving them the lap dances. But for girls, it's just kind of playing around or whatever. I'll have my back towards them, and I would maybe like pop and twerk on them a little bit, or I'll stand up and make it clap or whatever, but I wouldn't get too much in their face or do all of that stuff. But with this particular girl, I was giving her a lap dance as if I was giving a man a lap dance, and not just any man. I was giving her a lap dance as if I was going to give a man that I was about to entertain a lap dance. We're this close together. You see how close this is? Like we are this close together. So I'm all in her face. I'm rubbing down her body and I'm rubbing down her legs, and I'm real close to her, and I have my nose at some point is rubbing up against hers, and I'm having my lips kind of rub up against hers, and I'm in her ear and I'm nibbling on her ear and licking her neck. And it's really, really weird, because we've been drinking all night, and like they had came up, started dancing with us. They bought us some drinks, and we started dancing on them. But I felt at some point I kind of was having outer body experience. Like, have you ever went to the movies and it's like the scary movie, and you like rooting for them to get out of the situation? You're like, girl, don't go in there, he in there. Or you be like, girl, and they fall and they trip, and you be like, why would you trip right now? He's right behind you. That's how I felt. I felt like I was watching myself in a movie, and I'm watching myself dance and be very suggestive with this girl, and I can't put my finger on it, but I know that it's not going to end well. So I want to yell at myself like, stop entertaining her. It's not going to be good. Don't do that. But I can't speak. Have you ever seen that? Have you ever been, I don't know what it's called, when it's just like you're outside of yourself, you see yourself doing stuff and you want to stop yourself, but you can't talk and you can't stop. Does that make sense? I don't know. It's weird. It was weird. My whole situation with her was weird. Everything was always weird. I would always have these like outer body experiences, or I felt like I was in a trance, or it was just very, very weird. So I'm dancing on her. Like I said, I'm touching her and inappropriately. I'm doing a lot of things that don't make sense. And as I'm dancing with her, we kind of lock eyes, and I feel like, I don't know how to explain this. I feel like we are having sex, but just from looking at her eyes. I don't know if that makes sense to y'all. I don't know how to explain it. To this day, I still don't know what was going on. But like, as I'm looking her in her eyes and as I'm dancing, I feel like I'm being pleasured. Does that make sense? I don't know. I know y'all think I'm crazy, but this is what's happening. So I'm dancing, I'm looking at her, and I'm feeling some type of way. And I'm just like, why? I've never felt this way before. and I'm an eye contact girly. I'll like looking at dudes in their eyes because it's just like, I'm trying to see who's gonna break first. You know what I'm saying? I like the flirt like that. I like to be in your face and like see what you're gonna do with it. But with her, it was different. So as I'm dancing and as I'm rubbing on her and as she's touching me, I'm feeling different things, and I'm like, okay, this is weird in a good way because it feels amazing, but also what's happening? I've never been this drunk before, because how am I feeling this way? So I'm like, okay, I need to stop dancing with you. I need to sit down because obviously I'm on one. So I sit there, we're still having drinks. I end up getting sick. I stumble to the bathroom and I throw up because at this point, everybody in the bar has been buying me drinks for hours, and I'm moving around and dancing and doing all this craziness or whatever. I have to throw up. So I throw up and I'm like scraping my tongue with my nails. Like, you brush your teeth, you don't have a tongue scraper. So I'm scraping it with my nails and I'm doing all this. I'm trying to rinse my mouth out. I got a whole bunch of gum that I'm cycling in and out, rinsing. It's just a whole thing. I'm trying to get myself together. And I come back out and I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna drink some water, and I'm chilling. And she's still kind of very close to me, very, very touchy-feely, very whatever, but I'm not thinking nothing of it because we just all having a good time. So she ends up kind of touching on my thigh and she whispers in my ear, you want to get out of here? And I'm like, okay, let's go. I can't drive, I obviously can't go anywhere, so I'll go with you where you want to go. She was like, I'm trying to go to the strip club. And I'm like, okay, fine. Now, mind you, I've never been to the strip club in Atlanta because like I told you, I don't know how to work the pole. There was no reason for me to be in there, but it is what it is. So I talked to my homegirl and I'm like, hey, they trying to go to the strip club. You trying to roll? She's like, yeah. So I ended up rolling with the girl that I guess had eyeball sex with. I don't know what to call it. Like, don't judge me. I don't know what it was, but I know what I felt, okay? Something was going on. I don't know what transpired, but I went with her. And then my homegirl went with the other one. And so we're driving, and then now I'm having the outer body experience again where I'm seeing myself and I'm kind of moving like I'm doing a whole bunch of body rolls, but I feel like I'm moving like a snake a little bit. Like it's really, really weird. Like I see myself and I'm like dancing on her. Okay, this is how I can explain it. Have y'all seen Bad Boys 2? Remember when Martin had accidentally took the ecstasy pill or whatever, and then they went over Captain Howard's house and he was just like in the back like dum, 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 dum. He was just dancing, and then he had on a wife beater and like some drawers and like a robe for no reason. He like, you should see the sexy stuff I got. That's how I felt. He was like smooth like a baby's butt. That's how I felt. Like that leather in her car felt amazing. So I'm like rubbing the leather, and then I got my hands and I'm moving it like this on the top of the roof, and I just keep rolling my body and everything just feels so amazing. I'm like, did this whole drug me? And here's the thing about it. Every time we were together, it was like that. Every time we were together, we were drinking, but I'm like, did she put something in my drink? Is she like a witch? Like, am I under a spell? It was that crazy. I would always feel like I was in a trance when I was with her. I would always know that I was there, but then like bits and pieces of our experience would just disappear. I would know that I was somewhere with her, and I would know that we would be doing certain things, and then I would automatically kind of like, not necessarily back up, but it would just like kind of cut to a different scene. It was like I was in a movie. Like I said before, it's like I'm outside having an outer body experience, watching me in a movie where I can't make myself stop doing stuff. So I see myself like gyrating and rolling all over the car, and I'm touching everything really, really suggestively. And she said something along the lines, well, why we gotta go to the strip club? You can just dance for me. And then cutscene or whatever. I don't know what happens after that. And then somehow we're at like a red light, and she's talking to me, but I can't hear what she's saying. Like I can't hear anything that she's saying, but she's talking to me and she's looking at me and she's kind of like rubbing my leg. So I pull her forward and I kiss her. I don't know how long we were kissing. It felt like forever to me, but I know that I'm like kissing her, and I know that I'm enjoying it too, which was weird again. Well, I guess not weird, because I've always kind of been curious, but I never really thought that I would go there. So it's not as weird as it sounds, but it is for me because like I told you, I grew up real religious, real, you don't do this. If you do this, you're going to hell type thing. So that was always something that I kind of imagined, or that I kind of thought about, but never really fully acted on, because like I told y'all before, when I was younger, I would watch porn, and back in those days, now, well, I don't know what they do now because I don't watch it, but when I was in college, you can kind of search for different type of things that you want to watch. But before, when I was watching it on that big back TV, it just was whatever they had. It was just like, dude came in, he was the plumber, like, you need your pipes unclogged, and she said yes, and then they were having sex. Like, it was just so random, right? And it was always people, and then they would never really show the man stuff. They would show his face or his torso or whatever, but the women, they just tooted and booted, okay? Every single thing about her was just out, but I was still watching it. So it was like, why was I interested even though it was just women parts? You know what I'm saying? And I think all that kind of stemmed from when I was a child. You know, when you're younger, you're kind of curious and you're just like, oh, does my body part look like yours? So, you know, somebody that you know and trust, they kind of pull their panties down and they show you what they got, and then you kind of knowing that it's bad, but also still being curious, you pull yours down, and then, you know, they get to touching stuff and you're just kind of like, I don't know what's going on, but I just, you know, but you also feel like bad because they're telling you like, oh, well, if you tell somebody, you're gonna get in trouble, right? So, you know, these experiences or whatever as a child, seeing women's body parts, feeling different things, and then watching porn and watching the women, and then now having that curiosity in the back of your mind, and then now you get to act it out and you're drunk. So you don't have normally that stuff or that little inner thing inside of you that would say, hey, this is wrong, or hey, you're not supposed to do this. That's not there. Or you're having an out of body experience like me where you know that you shouldn't be doing something, but you can't stop it, right? So that's where I was. I'm in this car with this girl and we're at the red light and I'm kissing her. And then blackout again, cutscene. Somehow we're in a garage. I don't know if it's like the garage to her apartment or if it's some random garage. I don't know where we are, but I just remember her like looking at me and like pulling me towards her and like touching on me and all of these different things. And then I black out again. And then I wake up the next morning and I'm so confused because I wake up in the bathroom of my friend's house and one of us is in the tub, another one of us is wrapped up on the floor in the shower curtain. It's just one of those nights, not necessarily hangover type style, but it's one of those things where like you have bits and pieces of stuff and you're searching for clues because you're like, how did I get here? What's happening or whatever. So the next day we're talking to my friend's roommate and we're asking her what happened. She was just like, y'all came home drunk, y'all was loud, y'all was knocking on the door, you know, y'all was peeing outside. And I'm like, of course we were peeing outside. She was like, so I got y'all in the house and I tried to take y'all to the bathroom, and then I was just like, I can't deal with this right now because y'all on my nerves, but y'all was safe, put y'all in the bathroom, gave y'all some water, and y'all was good. So the rooms are spinning. We don't know what's going on. Our throats hurt from throwing up so much. It's bad. And I get a text message from the girl And she's like, you know, hey, let me know when you this and that and the other. So apparently her and her friend had dropped us off. My friend was more coherent than I was, so she was able to tell her where she lived. So they dropped us off at that. Just don't be like me. That's the only advice I have. Don't be like me. So after this or whatever, I'm telling the girl, thank you so much for making sure that me and my girl got home safe. I appreciate you. So then me and her started hanging out for a little bit, and you know, I'm feeling her or whatever. And I'm like, in Atlanta, kind of anything goes. All of the stuff, and I can see why people move to Atlanta and they kind of wow out, because in these different cities, I'm not saying that there's not fornication in every city or all that stuff, but I feel like there's less judgment in Atlanta because it just is what it is. So you can come here, you can do what you want to do, you can be who you want to be, and no one ever second guesses you because it's just like that, right? So I'm interested in this girl, and we're hanging out, we're drinking, but every single time I'm with her, I feel like I'm having these outer body experiences in the trance where I'm looking at myself doing stuff, but then I'm cutting out and I don't necessarily know what's happening, and I'm waking up very confused, very oblivious to what's going on. Why am I always feeling very not myself, or very, not necessarily drugged, because I don't want to say this man was drugging me, but why am I always feeling this way around you? Any other time, I've been drunk a couple of times in my life, okay? And it's never been quite to this extent where I'm outside of myself, you know? But anyway, so I'm feeling this girl, and I'm like, okay, so we're gonna be together, but turns out she has a boyfriend. So now I got an attitude, because it's just like, I'm already not winning when I'm trying to date dudes. These dudes are popping up with babies. These dudes have different girls on the side, and I always end up being number two. So I'm thinking like, okay, I'm gonna switch teams. At least I can be number one over here. Not true. Not true. She has a dude, and she's like the typical, like at that time, typical fine girl. Like she's light skinned, petite, got a nice little body or whatever. So like dudes is always checking for her. So she got this dude, and she wanted me to start doing stuff that the dude was doing. Like, so the dude, you know, he's paying bills and doing all this stuff and making sure he's cashing her out. And I'm like, I'd rather cut the grass with a butter knife than to be the man in a relationship. What are you talking about? So I ended up blocking her, because I'm just like, I am not about to do this with you. I want to be with you. You telling me you want to be with me, but then you got this dude on the side, and you talking to other people at the same time. Like, I just don't have time. So I ended up blocking her. But see, back then I was kind of one of them people that wanted to block you so I can get your attention, so you can make me unblock you. Like, so if I blocked you, I was totally expecting an email. Like, email me and tell me how much you love me, or send me some flowers with a little note asking me to take you back. You know what I'm saying? They say every kiss begins with K, but for me, I'm one Zelle away. Zelle me some money and put in the caption, I love you, unblock me. That's what I'm looking for. The quickest way for me to unblock you is send me some money. You know what I'm saying? Once again, some of y'all might not be old enough to know this, but we used to have limits on our cell phone where we had to pay for a certain amount of minutes. That's how I am. Zelle me. If you Zelle me enough minutes, I'll unblock you and I'll talk to you for the amount of money that you put in my account. But she did none of that, because why did she have to? She was a baddie, period. She's a baddie. She got these dudes running around. She got these girls running around. I'm new at this. I'm not falling in line like she wants me to fall in line. So she's not reaching out. So I ended up unblocking her, thinking like, okay, well, you're not gonna reach out, but if I unblock you, you might just one day miss me. And she didn't. I mean, maybe a couple of years later afterwards, she had hit me up and was like, meet me at our spot. And I was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. But yeah, so that was a crazy time in my life, and it gets crazier. It does. Today's been a lot. It's been a lot to me to get a lot of that out. I thank you if you made it to the end. I thank you for watching. This is rough. This is really, really rough. I appreciate you for being here. All of these different things were a lot for me to kind of discuss and open up about. But before I go, I really want to say, because I don't know if anybody else has dealt with like similar situations or been through some stuff. If you feel like you have shame and guilt kind of following you, whatever it is that you're doing to try to mask that pain, please stop and ask God about it. please do it, because I'm telling you right now, when you push stuff under the rug like I did, when you avoid talking about things for as long as I did, when you allow shame and guilt to come in and attack you, it gets really, really bad. And for me, I tried to hide things with sex. It was just like, okay, I feel this way, I feel that way, I'm just going to have sex with these people because it's going to be relief for me. But it's a temporary relief. It's like a temporary drug. Have y'all ever seen those commercials? And it's just like, you have some type of ailment. It's like, oh, you got a tick, like you got a tick in your neck or something like that. It's like, oh, well, you got a tick in your neck. There's a drug for that. But the side effects include like diarrhea, dandruff, you gonna go blind in one eye, one of your toes gonna fall off, you gonna have bad breath. And you're just like, dang, like I should have just stuck with the tick. That's kind of how, when you have an issue in your life and you don't address it, that's how it becomes. So for me, I have low self-esteem and I had rejection issues, but instead of bringing that to God and being like, okay, why do I feel like this? Or why can't I get past this? Or I did this in my past and I still feel so much shame and so much guilt for it. How come I can't get past that? What am I supposed to do? Instead, I would just have sex and be like, okay, it is what it is. But what happens is now further down the road, okay, I've stopped having sex, but I still got all those different side effects from the sex. I still have low self-esteem every now and then. I still have trust issues now because I've been with so many people who have let me down and now I can't trust anybody. I still have all these different things, and it's just crazy because why would you do that? Why would you add more on top of the things that are already wrong with you? We can just ask God to help you to deal with the main issue. Every time we go around the main issue, we think, okay, we're going to bounce up and down on somebody's son, or we're going to lick on somebody's daughter, and then all of my pain is going to go away. It doesn't. It doesn't. It sits there and it waits for you and it stays with you. And then it causes you to do other things that you're not proud of because you didn't deal with the main thing. So if you haven't heard anything that I said this whole entire time, deal with the main thing, please. Please, I beg you, because I don't want you to ever have to go through all of the pain and all of the suffering, all of the shame and all of the guilt and all of the extra icky things, the residue that comes with not dealing with the main thing. And I'm gonna leave some resources down too in the description. If you've been feeling depressed or suicidal or any of that type of stuff, I'm gonna leave that down too, because you don't have to do life alone. There's some help out there for you. So I know that this is kind of heavy, but I want us to heal together. Honestly, if you're feeling lonely, if you feel like nobody will get what you're going through, please understand, I get it. Even if I haven't been in the same situation as you, I've been through quite enough to know how it feels to be lonely, to know how it feels to have low self-esteem, to know how it feels to not want to live and not want to do it anymore. Okay, you don't have to do life alone. One thing about me is I will always kind of like pull away and be like, okay, no, I'm gonna deal with this by myself. But it made it worse. It honestly made it worse. So please check out the resources that I'm gonna put in the description. Please talk to somebody, a trusted friend, an advisor, a church member, anything. Please don't do it by yourself. It's not even worth it. Okay, so I know today's been a lot. I appreciate you sticking with me to the end, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye.